Hello, BookTube. I have a Friday reads for you. It's Friday, a gorgeous sunny Friday. I've got a sleepy bean on the couch. We just hang out all day together. This is what we do. I just hang out here. She just hangs out there. Occasionally uh, we turn our heads and just sort of smooch noses together. And then we go back to hanging out. I think later on in the summer it'll probably get too hot for her to be laying there in the sun like that. But right now it's just gorgeous, cool, fragrant breezes coming through here. But I want to take you through 6 books here. I don't know how many of them we've seen on this channel. It might be that we've seen none of them. And I have read none of them. I'm just familiar with some of their authors, so they're looming on the horizon here. And the first one is the first two, in fact. I just mentioned on this channel recently, and the book gods were obviously listening. So I have Max Gladstone, who is really, really good. He did the Craft series of urban fantasy novels that are just terrific. And this is his new book coming out, I think, in June. This might be out already. No, this comes out next Tuesday. And this is Empress of Forever. Look at that. That is the cover. Isn't that awesome? This is his new standalone book. Vivian Lau, a wildly successful innovator on the scale of Steve Jobs, is known for radical thinking, quick decision making, and restless action. On the eve of her greatest achievement, in one terrifying instant, Viv is catapulted from a chilly Boston server farm to a deadly far future. The end of time is ruled by a powerful empress who can bless or blast entire planets with a single thought. Rebellion is literally impossible until Viv arrives and turns the universe upside down. And the plot would intrigue me anyway, even if it were Max Jones is the name of the author. But this is a case where I know the author, and I trust him completely. He has won nothing but goodwill from me with every book that I've ever read by him. So I'm very much looking forward to this. And this next one, this is an old-fashioned series, a multi-volume biography of a famous person in history. You don't see many of those anymore. And this is Sidney Blumenthal, which I mentioned this on my channel just recently. This is All the Powers of the Earth, his latest Lincoln biography, which takes Lincoln, look at the size of this thing, takes him as a firebrand senator, as a firebrand congressman, right up to the beginning of the Civil War. And the final volume, I would assume, there's only one volume left in the series, I don't know, I would hope, will be him during the last 5 years of his life. This goes from 1856 to 1860. Very, very tense years, and time a time that, you know, every inch, every single moment, every waking minute, every hair, every follicle, every fingernail of Abraham Lincoln has been studied exhaustively. But more studies have been done of his time as president than this time, which was key to his time as president. This is him testing the waters, talking and giving speeches endlessly on the subjects that were tearing the country apart. I'm looking forward to it very, very much so. I've been enjoying these books. So I'm looking forward to them. And then the next one I'm also looking forward to, also an author who has never done wrong by me. So that kind of goodwill you really want. This is the new book by Amitav Ghosh. And this is Gun Island. And it's the description sounds really, really good. What have we got here? At the heart of this novel, is Dinanath Deen Datta, a reserved Indian-American dealer of rare books, who becomes fascinated by the story out of a Bengali folklore about a figure called the Gun Merchant, and about the Hindu folk goddess of snakes, Manasa Devi. After visiting an old temple in West Bengal, Dean begins to unravel the origin of this legend with the help of his friend Sinta, an esteemed Italian scholar, and Pia, a Bengali-American marine biologist whom we first met in The Hungry Tide by this author. Along the way, we encounter extreme storms, rising water, and raging fires, and are pulled into the story of Tipu and Rafi, 2 young men who decide to make the long trek from Bengal to Europe in search of greater opportunities and to flee the pressures of changing climate. Gun Island is Ghosh's first novel since his 2016 nonfiction book, The Great Derangement, based on a series of lectures he delivered at the University of Chicago, in which he argued that contemporary novelists have largely failed to treat climate change as the central issue that it is. It's also his first novel since concluding his best-selling Ibis trilogy in 2015. And I loved that trilogy. I also loved his nonfiction. Ghosh has established himself as an important voice on environmental issues. Foreign Policy magazine named him one of their 2019 Global Thinkers, and he has a unique international perspective and writes naturally about the most urgent issues of the moment. And ordinarily on this channel, if you took the name off this book and I read that bit from the pub sheet, I would then be warning. I'd be issuing stern warnings. I'd be saying, well, this is a novel, so you had better not only preach to me. You can preach just fine in a novel, absolutely you can, but a novel also has other duties. But in this case, with this author, I don't need to give that warning. He has totally won me over. He would have to make a serious misstep for that to even be dented a little. And I'm not expecting that he will. That's the nice thing when authors build an escrow account of goodwill with you, is that they've got a lot to draw on before they're in will he, won't he territory, and I like that. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I absolutely hate reading a book. I love savaging bad work. But at heart, I am the same kind of reader as the rest of you. I want to be thrilled. I want that electric feeling of just rising up out of your own skin that books can provide, that books regularly, that's why we're all reading. And he has done that, so I'm looking forward to it. Then the next one is, I think this is a debut. I'm pretty sure this is a debut. I think this is going to be a paperback release when it comes out, and I think this is soon. I think this comes out in early July. Yeah, this is early July. I have already seen all sorts of talk about it, but I haven't actually read even a bit of it so far to see how well it's done. This is by Sarah Archer, and it is The Plus One. And it's a novel. I don't remember if this is a debut. But it's got an irresistible premise, and a very old premise too. It's the Pygmalion myth. It's about an awkward and perpetually single computer specialist who decides that if she can't find the perfect man, she will construct the perfect man. She will build a life like he. She works in a robotics laboratory that specializes in the next generation of lifelike robots, and she decides, rather than go to all of these friends' weddings and events alone or with losers, I'll just build an ideal man. And you can tell from the variations on Pygmalion that have happened for the last 2,000 years, you can guess what some of the complications will be. And I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. It will totally depend for me on how it's done. So, I'm all for the premise. We will see how it's executed. I will report back. This next one is China Mieville style, Perdido Street Station style science fiction fantasy of a type that, if it's done well, I really like. And this sounds intriguing. This is by Richard Kadrey, and it's called The Grand Dark. Look at that cover. Isn't that awesome? And this is The Great War is Over. This author did the Sandman Slim series. I don't think I ever read that. And this is a standalone fantasy, a dark fantasy of his. The Great War, capital G, capital W, is over. The city of Lower Prozawa celebrates the peace with a decadence and carefree spirit as intense as the war's horrifying despair. But this newfound hedonism, drugs, sex, and endless parties distracts from the strange realities of everyday life. Intelligent automata taking jobs, genetically engineered creatures that serve as pets and beasts of war, a theater where gruesome murders happen twice a day, and a new plague that even the ceaseless euphoria can't mask. Unlike others who live strictly for fun, the character named Largo is an addict with ambitions. A bike messenger who grew up in the slums, he knows the city's back alleys and secrets intimately. His life seems set. He has a beautiful girlfriend, drugs, and a chance at promotion, and maybe an opportunity for complete transformation, a contact among the elite who can set him on a course to lift himself out of the streets. But dreams can be dangerous in a city whose mood is dark and inward. Others have a vision of life very different from Largo's, and they will use any method to secure control. And behind it all, beyond the frivolity and chaos, the threat of a new war always looms. So you can hear already the echoes there of Perdido Street Station and The Lies of Loch-na-Morna, and I like those kind of books, so I'm all in favor of this. And this is soon. This is also soon. This is June. This is June 11th, so this is already out. It's new getting to me. That's all. And the last one is also a familiar name. I have read a couple of books by this author. I confess the thing I like most about him isn't part of his long-running series. It was a standalone that he did for the Hogarth Shakespeare series. But this is, I'm going to say Joe Nesbo. I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce either one of those names. And this is his latest. This is just called Knife. And there he is. They don't. The publisher knows that they don't need to sing him up to new people. He has a big enough fan base now, so that that's all they need. And this is due soon. I think this is in the first week of July, and it's a Harry Hole novel. And the Harry Hole books, I've read 2 of them, I think, and they are squarely in the strike zone of what annoys me about Scandinavian noir. These loser heroes who aren't presentable, they aren't respectable, they aren't competent, they aren't interesting, they aren't lyrical in any way. It's just I honestly believe that a large motor of the appeal of these books is that readers are supposed to think they are simply better than the main character, and of course they are. But I don't. You get a little tired of keeping fictional company with such a person for hundreds of pages at a time. But I'm going to try it anyway. I'm newly predisposed to like this author after his novel Macbeth. Which was so much better than the boring original. But anyway, this is a Harry Hole novel. It's the 12th one in the series, I think. And Harry Hole is in a very bad place. Of course he is. Raquel, the only woman he's ever loved, has kicked him out permanently. He's drinking again, that goes without saying. And though he's been given a chance for a new start with the Oslo police, it's in the dreaded cold case office. What he wants to be investigating, what he's made to be investigating, are new cases that he suspects have ties to Sven Finn, the most notorious criminal in Norway, the serial murderer and rapist Harry helped put behind bars a decade ago. Now Finn is free and, Harry is certain, unreformed, and already taking up where he left off. But things are about to get worse. When Harry wakes up the morning after a drunken blackout, it's only the very beginning of what will be a waking nightmare, the likes of which even he could never imagine. Okay, so fairly well-trod ground by the description for Scandinavian noir, but I'm gonna dive into this thing. It's soon, and I'm on board with this author. I shouldn't be, in a way. I shouldn't be, because the book that I have loved by him was not part of the Harry Hole series. So if he goes back to his old ways with the Harry Hole series, then it will irritate me just the way all the others were. But you never know. You never know. I will give it a try. So that is our Friday reads. We have Joe Nesbo, Knife. We have The Grand Dark by an author I don't think I've read. We have The Plus One about a woman who invents her perfect man. We have Gun Island by Amitav Ghosh. I can't wait. We have All the Powers of the Earth, the new Sidney Blumenthal biography of Lincoln. This is the political life of Abraham Lincoln. And we're just moving on. This is I'm thinking, the second to last volume. And then Empress of Forever by Max Gladstone, an author I just love. So we've got a couple of authors here that I just love, and that's the reason I'm going to read their books. So those are on my horizon. These and a few other things are on my horizon. So as usual on Friday Reads, I want to know what you're reading, what you're working on, what will the weekend contain. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up for now. We might have more bookish stuff to talk about, so you might see this face again. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.